opening, grand closing.
Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Your only friend is YouTube Streets Porter Rock 77. Back with another video. Now, in my last video, I talked about how the direction from a hardware and a platform OS direction for Windows and AMD, how it's great for them as a business, right? Microsoft as a platform will focus on Windows, which is already the most popular OS in gaming. It's everywhere. You already have it. We already have it. Even I already have it. I mean, I don't play on my gaming laptop much. I mean, to be honest, I don't play on it at all, but I have it, right? So it's very popular. It's already in homes. It's in more regions than a customized Xbox console could be. So Microsoft focusing on the Windows OS is a win for them, right? On the hardware side, AMD no longer has to worry about customized consoles that people don't buy, aka specifically the Xbox consoles, right? So that side of the business, they don't have to worry about no longer. They're focusing more on just optimized hardware that PCs, handhelds, and what Microsoft would like to call Xbox consoles, right? Which is just really pre-built PCs. Um, that's pretty much what they're going, right? So everything's fine, right? Great for AMD, great for Windows, great for Microsoft. They're heading in the right direction. They're chopping off the worst part of gaming for them, which is the Xbox console. So AMD is no longer going to have to report losses for Xbox hardware that people don't buy, and neither does Microsoft. And Microsoft doesn't have to make these huge investments in customized silicon. Those days are over, right? They don't have to worry about it. But what I mentioned is two groups are one group is going to really benefit from this, and another group is going to be they're going to be upset, right? Right. Let's talk about the group that benefits from this, and that's going to be the PC gamers, the gamers who game on PC, the gamers who transitioned away from consoles. I mean, they used to play on consoles, but now they're playing their games on PC. So we've seen that this gen. We've seen people who in the beginning were all about the consoles, but now they embrace PC gaming. Like Doc Dark is one. I think Fonz Gaming, he was a big console guy, but now he plays primarily on PC and he's loving it. Who else? Even Cole Eastwood. Cole Eastwood, he was a big console dude. Now he primarily plays everything on console gaming. I mean PC gaming. So there's a lot of people who transitioned away from console to PC gaming this gen. There's people who's been a PC gamer for years, right? So they're gonna benefit. And then now you have people who are now considering PC, right? They're now no longer hardcore console. They're now open to the idea of playing on PC because maybe they don't really like the direction Xbox is going or the wording or what they've done. And also maybe they don't really like what PlayStation is doing with this half-ass strategy of third party. Does a game go to PC? Does it not? In live service, there's a lot of things that some people see wrong in gaming, and they just feel going to PC now just alleviates all that issues that's coming with console. They're just moving on. So for that group, great. This is great. This what Microsoft is doing will hugely benefit you. And here's why. Microsoft is focused on Windows, not customized Windows that Xbox traditionally have. Nothing like that. No, all out Windows. That means if you have a gaming PC, you're going to benefit from all this because you don't have to buy. I'm telling you now, don't worry about thinking you have to buy any of this hardware or future hardware. You don't. All they're doing is pushing PC gaming. You already have it. And don't worry about if you are rocking Intel and Nvidia, right? You might be, a fan of Intel and Nvidia and you don't really like AMD, but the way Microsoft, is kind of like announcing stuff, whatever, it kind of gives you the feeling like, damn, do I have to start getting AMD hardware now? Can I just stick with my Intel and Nvidia and keep, buying those for my PC gaming? I'm telling you, yes, you absolutely can. Don't let the noise or the media marketing behind the relationship between AMD, whatever, change the fundamental idea. The superwoman here, Sarah Bond, she told you, and I showed this in my last video. She wants Windows to be the best gaming platform. That's it, Windows, not Xbox hardware or anything like that. Windows gaming, right? So let me ask you this: is your PC with Intel and NVIDIA GPU, is that a Windows gaming platform? Yes. So you're good. You're going to get everything from this. And what they're doing simply is they're going to bring some form of emulation updates, right? Um, You know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go into the bad side. Okay. So everything that's about to happen, you PC gamers are good. Whether you're on Intel, AMD, it doesn't matter. You don't even have to buy the new hardware, and you're not going to be restricted to certain types of hardware. Yeah, absolutely good. Windows is going to have this update. Let me explain the bad group first, and I could tie it all in. And the group that's gonna have a hard time or bad is going to be the actual Xbox console gamers, the ones who are not ready to go to PC, the ones who don't want to go to PC at all. All right. Ooh, sorry about that. Those are the ones that's going to have an issue with this, and I'm going to tell you why. Microsoft's not going to produce customized console hardware. All of this is going to be pre-built PCs, quote unquote consoles, right? And then just hyping up other PC devices and PC handheld devices, all that stuff, right? It's all PC gaming. It's just how they're going to present it to you to make it palatable, right? Similar to the Asus ROG Ally X Xbox one, right? Now all the Xbox guys are calling it an Xbox, right? When for a while, Asus has been making Asus ROG Ally. There's MSI Claw, there's Legion. All those are getting the updates, right? But the way it's branded and advertised, it makes them feel good saying that, oh no, this is an Xbox. This is my Xbox device. Whatever, right? That's how they want to feel. But the thing is, these devices are going to be using common PC hardware that's going to be compatible with all devices. But what that means is you're going to be paying a markup to that. You see, with traditional customized console that's specifically built to the specifications of a hardware company, in this case, Xbox, right? And we could also say PlayStation, they built their consoles with customized hardware because they know these consoles has to last a couple of years, right? So they want to give the best bang for the buck. They go with AMD, they put in some specific bespoke technologies and stuff like that to really give it that customized profile. And then they sell it at a loss when it launches, right? For PlayStation, and I'll use PlayStation, because PlayStation has the same business model. They will sell at a loss, but then over the course of a year and a half, they are working with AMD to have the manufacturing costs go down. It gets cheaper. Then eventually the PS5, like we'll use the PS5 as an example, it goes from selling at a loss to breaking even to now selling for profit, right? Now, Xbox, for whatever reason, since the OG Xbox, they have never been able to get their consoles profitable. I don't understand why. This is something they testified. I think was it either in the not even the ABK trial. They testified it in the Epic versus Apple trials. They testified that they have never been able to figure out a way to get their consoles profitable, which is weird. I don't understand how or why. I don't understand why they weren't able to get with the factories and be able to produce cheaper silicon to get it profitable. But whatever, they always sold their consoles at a loss consistently throughout the gen. They just weren't able to figure it out, right? But that's the business model when you're talking about customized consoles in a console centric world. Xbox is going away with that, and AMD will no longer have to produce customized chipsets for Microsoft, right? So they're just going to use pretty much AMD hardware, PC hardware that you probably can buy off the shelf, just like any PC gamer if you plan to build your PC. Or if you go to a PC store, right, and you pick your parts and then you have them build it for you, same thing, right? These are common PC parts. The beauty about that is Microsoft is no longer trying to build customized hardware, right? It's just AMD and get all the parts. Now, there is a partnership between the two. So you're thinking, then how does the partnership work? Well, I'm guessing because if we're going to push Xbox branding, Microsoft probably has a left and right lateral limit, meaning you have to do this if you want to be part of the Xbox brand, right? So let's say Dell's one of those third-party partners who makes gaming PCs, or we use the brand that I have in the gaming laptop, Acer, I have the Nitro 5. So let's say Acer's like, hey, we want to, as a company, want to make Xbox branded devices. What do we have to do? Well, Xbox goes, well, one, it has to be AMD components, and the AMD components has to be a minimum use this CPU and a minimum this GPU. You can go higher, but you can't go less. Meaning, if you find a weaker CPU that AMD makes, you can't use that. It has to be minimum this CPU or better, this GPU or better, and a minimum of 16 gigs of video RAM. As long as you have those three main components, and again, I'm just giving you an example, right, of what Microsoft can possibly do to have this going off the ground, right? This is just an example. But let's say, as an example, they dictate, minimum this CPU or better, minimum this GPU or better, minimum 16 gigabits of video RAM or 12, whatever. If you do that, yes, you will get the Xbox branding on your device. And Acer's like, cool, we're gonna build this pre-built mini cased, nicely designed cased Acer Nitro 5 Xbox edition. Have this CPU, I'll have this GPU and this amount of RAM for $900. This one for $1,200. This one's for $1,800. You're gonna have all different variations and different models, right? And that's where the console gamer is not gonna like, because they're not gonna get bang for the buck, customized console. They're gonna get these pre-built PCs, and they're gonna be paying big money. They're gonna be paying $1,000, whatever. Now the crazy part is the lowest end. Let's say the lowest end Acer version is $900. It's not gonna have very powerful hardware. It's just not 900, because remember, these are products that you have to pay and they're going to make profit. So it's a higher markup, right? So it's $900 at a higher markup. So you're paying for the profits for the parts and the assembly. So these are higher markup items, and the cost to performance is not going to be what console gamers are used to, right? So that's the main thing they're not going to like. So to get a decent performing pre-built Xbox branded hardware, you're probably going to look in the window of 1,200 or more. And I think I'm being easy with that price. The $1,200 price point for a decent gaming rig, Xbox gaming rig. And I'm saying Xbox gaming rig. I'm not saying PC gaming rig that you can build yourself. I'm not saying that, because, and we'll talk about that. In fact, that should be another conversation. In fact, I will make that another conversation, another video. But I'm not talking about PC gaming rig that you can go out and put together and build yourself. I'm talking pre-built, company-made, Xbox branded devices. They are going to be overpriced. And that's something these console gamers who, for the most part, primarily bought the Xbox Series S because they got it for $300. I doubt a gamer that was only willing to buy a Series S for $300 is not going to jump to $1,200, $1,500 gaming. That's going to be a hurdle. The next hurdle that console gamers not going to like, but this is the thing I think Microsoft is going to resolve, which will then go back to benefiting PC gamers. And this is the tie-in. It's the emulation, right? And what I mean by that is they have to have emulation on Windows, because the one thing Xbox console gamers are not going to like is being told you are going to PC gaming. You're going to have to pick a PC type gaming environment if you really want to play on Xbox. But their first clapback is going to be is my library that I established, majority of the games are not play anywhere. They don't work on PC. And they're going to be upset that this library they can't take with them. But as you saw in the last video with Sarah Bond and even Lisa Su saying your library is going with you, I think that Microsoft figured out emulation. So now on Windows, the actual operating system everybody has, they have emulation software or some form of technology similar to that will allow your library to be played on Windows. So now you can't be mad that you're being forced to PC gaming because your library is there with you. You got your gamer tag, you got PC Game Pass that's there, all of it's there. No excuses to be upset other than my first point, which would be the price point. $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. That will probably be the one thing you don't like. But with this emulation that they're going to do on Windows, that benefits you PC gamers, because simply you getting the full Xbox legacy library. The games that were not playing anywhere, you're getting them, or you have access to them. Maybe you had access to them because the last time you played on Xbox was your 360 and you moved on from your 360, and now you didn't play on Xbox One because you didn't like it. You play on your PS4. Right? And now with this, then you play on PS5, and maybe you have a PC also. Maybe it's a companion, whatever, or both, whatever. It doesn't really matter. That Xbox 360 library that you own digitally and whatever, guess what? You now have access to that system again, and you don't have to buy an Xbox, not even these new ones. You got it on your PC, so you got your library back. All you got to do is log on to your gamer tag, and boom. These games that once did not work on your PC, they now do work because they updated Windows. This is how you PC gamers win. And the beautiful part is, because it's all about the Windows operating system and not specifically about hardware, even your Intel NVIDIA guys, the guys whose PCs is built on the backs of Intel and NVIDIA, you get this too. So you don't even have to worry about conversations of AMD hardware because it's primarily focused on Windows platform. Your NVIDIA Intel system is a Windows platform, is Windows gaming on the OS. Boom. You get everything. You get whatever UI Microsoft is trying to design to make console gaming more palatable on PC. You get the library, you get all of it. It is an absolute win for you PC gamers that already have PC, right? Or those of you who's about to get into PC. So this is a win. The console gamers, you're going to have to accept the fact that you're being forced onto PC and you're going to be paying more money. But in the end, the trade-off for paying more money, right, to game on PC is you still keep your library, gamer tag, Game Pass, and you got access to Steam and Epic Game Store. Okay? That's it. So you shouldn't really be all that butthurt over this because you're paying an exaggerated more price, right? Or feeling the fact that you're being forced to play on PC, like you'll be all right, you know? Now, why isn't this being discussed? Well, you can see on the screen. A lot of these Xbox fanboys, they're more concerned on trying to win the console war instead of talking about what's going on. This is why I'm saying there should be a conversation, especially from the PC community, on the impacts of this on price and all that stuff. But that's going to be for another video. Until then, this is your only friend, is YouTube Streets Porter Rock 77. Thank you for checking out this video, and I will see you soon. Stay on the channel, rock out with the channel, subscribe, like, and get more content. 60 Frames No Like podcast every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And I do a Friday night live, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. But this Saturday, right? This Saturday, what's today's date? Yeah, this Saturday, June 21st. It will go on Saturday, June 21st, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and I will have a special guest. But until then, hope to see you guys soon. Hopefully you guys stay on the channel and rock out. Appreciate it. Take care. Peace.